On my way home that year, I found a stranger, his face covered in blood. I took him to the local. His wounds healed, but he was disoriented, couldn't remember who he was, or where he lived. Maybe it was because I helped him, but he just kept following me, occasionally smiling at me. I took him in. He was a bit vacant, but so handsome that I defied my family to marry him gifts or a wedding. We just had a simple meal at our rental and considered ourselves married. But later, he changed, saying, "How could I ever be interested in you?" I was probably just part of Marcus' game. I only found out his true identity, that he was the CEO of Hayes, when I saw the news online. And I, just a small-town girl from the countryside, how could I possibly be worthy of him? Becoming Hayes was out of the question. After he left our rental, he never came back, and he never contacted me again. I could only find out about him through the news. The current news showed him and Scarlett, a popular actress, arm in arm at a business gala. I often scrolled through gossip news, like Marcus and Scarlett being seen together leaving a hotel parking lot. After he left, I called him, but each time I heard, "The number you dialed is not in service. Please check and try again." I even went to Hayes to look for him, but I couldn't even get past the main. I felt ridiculous thinking back. I was so head over heels in love, you could even say I was starstruck. All for a handsome face. I gave 2 years of my life, not just my time, but my money too. I wanted to grow old together with him, to spend a lifetime together, even if we were poor. Love conquers all, I thought. But reality hit me hard. The first thing Marcus did after regaining his memory, was leave me to find his childhood sweetheart. Rather than living like this, I decided it was better to be clear with him and cut ties completely, just to get it over with. When I wanted a divorce, it didn't matter who he was or how rich, it had nothing to do with me. All I wanted was the money I had spent on him over those 2 years. I looked up how to write divorce papers online, drafted them myself, and then went back to Hayes. But I still couldn't get past the main. The corporation security guards already knew me, they even thought I was deliberately trying to cause trouble. "Ma'am, you are back again. Do you enjoy pretending to be Mrs. Hayes every day?" "I'm not pretending, I really am his wife." Of course, I had to defend myself, pulling out my phone to show the security guard pictures as I spoke. "Look, these are all photos of us together." "Haha, ma'am, stop messing around with me. Don't think a few photos make you the CEO's wife. Besides, who can't use photo editing these days? Go on, don't interfere with our work. Don't worry, I'm here to divorce Marcus this time. Once he signs the papers, I won't come back." "Ma'am, if you really were Mrs. Hayes, why would you divorce Mr. Hayes? So many young women want to marry him. Believe me, if you divorce him today, tomorrow there'll be a line of girls waiting to marry him." He was probably right. Wouldn't divorcing him just clear the way for Scarlett? Why should I do them a favor? Thinking about all this, tears streamed down my face. I suddenly felt so wronged, realizing the feelings I'd invested for 2 years were just gone, never to return. Even a small dog would wag its tail for me, wouldn't it? Remembering the beginning, I was working 2 jobs, doing a part-time shift at a convenience store at night. When I got off work late, there were only a few streetlights on the way home. In the faint light, I vaguely saw someone lying by the roadside. When I first saw him from a distance, I thought it was just some drunk passed out, but as I got closer, I realized his face was covered in blood. My conscience told me I had to help him. If I didn't, he might just die there. My house was in a remote area, and few cars passed by at that hour. I wanted to pick him up, but it was impossible. I knew there was a local near my house, so I ran to knock on the door. Finally, with the help of the on-duty doctor at the clinic, I managed to get him inside. The doctor at the local saw that his injuries weren't severe, and proceeded to clean and bandage his wounds. After his wounds were cleaned, I truly noticed how handsome his face was. When he woke up, he just shook his head, no matter what I asked him. I asked his name, he shook his head. I asked where he was from, and he still shook his head. "Miss, if you can't get anything out of him, why don't you call the police and let them handle it?" the local doctor kindly suggested. I took out my phone, intending to call the police, But Marcus stopped me. No need to call the police, I'll go myself. With that, he walked out of the local. Standing at the entrance, he seemed unsure where to go. So, he simply started following me. Wherever I went, he went. He followed me all the way to my apartment building. Why are you following me? I don't have any money, and I don't remember where my home is. In the end, I felt sorry for him, and brought him back to my rental, letting him sleep temporarily in the living room. He was so poor back then, he only had his ID card in his pocket. While he stayed at my place, he kept everything meticulously clean, both inside and out, and would even have meals ready for me when I came home. So, as time passed, we developed feelings for each other. Despite my family's objections, I resolutely chose to have a simple, no-frills wedding with him. When I had some money, I took him to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor said it might be traumatic amnesia, and there wasn't much they could do. But love conquers all, so it didn't really matter if he remembered who he was. We were together, from acquaintance to love, for 2 years. Only then did I realize I had misjudged him. Everything had just been part of his plan. Back then, his family's rivals had colluded with his own uncle to frame his entire family. He was kidnapped by the competitors, severely beaten, and then thrown out of a car near my house. His rivals wanted him dead, but fortunately, the person in charge was one of his own. The undercover agent he had sent, who was supposed to drive him to the outskirts and throw him into a river, deliberately left the car door unlocked, giving him a chance to escape. That's how, while waiting at a red light, he opened the door and rolled out. On the surface, he was escaping reality, faking amnesia, but in truth, he had always been in contact with his subordinates. He knew every move his enemies made and had a complete grasp of his family business. He was just waiting for the right moment, a chance to overthrow his adversaries. Finally, he got his chance. He not only reclaimed his family business, but also merged with his former competitor's company. And I also waited, only to hear him say disdainfully, "Grace, how could I have ever been interested in you?" He was right, I had nothing. It was normal for him not to be interested in me, so divorce was only logical. But why did he choose to disappear from my life instead of facing me and explaining? He could invest in Scarlett's films, and promote her to become a top star, but for me, he did nothing. I was incredibly heartbroken. I hid in my rental and cried all day. Later, I called my mom, hoping for some comfort, but instead, she just ridiculed me. "Mom," I called out, my voice slightly choked with tears. "You still remember me, your mom? How do you have so much free time to call me? Marcus dumped me." "Really? Weren't you too madly in love? You even disowned your parents for him, and you still got dumped." "Yes, I got dumped. Maybe I really was wrong from the start. Your biggest problem is you never listen to advice. When you get an idea in your head, you're stubborn as a mule. And now, got what you deserved, didn't you? Mom. All right, stop crying. Come home when you have time. Mom will cook you something delicious. I haven't seen you in ages, you must have lost weight." Hearing my mom talk like that, I cried even harder. My still loved me. It was unforgivable that I hadn't listened to her back then. "Mom, I'm fine. I just feel wronged. Once I get back what's mine, I'm coming home, leaving this city. I'll show respect and care for you, and Dad properly from now on." Hanging up the phone, I carefully calculated. The emotional investment I'd made over the past few years couldn't be measured in money, but he wasn't short on cash now. Adding 2 years of living expenses, $1 million was what I deserved. It was nothing to him. After this, we'd go our separate ways, and that would be that. I compiled 2 years of itemized bills, planning to take them and the divorce papers to Marcus again. Learning from my previous failed attempts, this time, I decided to wait for an opportunity to see him outside the company. Finally, I saw Marcus and Scarlett attending a new movie promotion event on a live stream. Seizing this chance, if I exposed him in front of the media, he would have no choice but to acknowledge everything. I arrived at the event with the itemized bill, our marriage certificate, and the divorce papers, but getting in was the problem. Just as I was standing at the entrance, feeling troubled, they approached me, holding a bouquet of roses and 2 tickets. He asked, "Miss, do you want tickets?" "Tickets? That's great. I really need them. But aren't they very expensive?" I thought there was a scalper, but then I reconsidered, what scalper would carry roses? Was he giving roses with the tickets? "They are free, they are for you. I was planning to propose to my girlfriend, but we broke up, so I don't want to go anymore. If you don't mind, the flowers are for you too." They pressed the tickets and the roses into my hand, smiled at me, and turned to leave before I could even say thank you. He had a pretty good attitude, though, still able to smile after a breakup. That was something I could learn from. I didn't care about anything else now. Clutching the tickets, I blended into the event. It was really lively here, with plenty of crazed fans. Scarlett herself was truly beautiful, even prettier than on TV, and her figure was incredible, perfectly proportioned, unlike me, who looked like I was underdeveloped from malnutrition. Scarlett was standing on stage, her arm linked with Marcus. Reporters were clustered around, interviewing and taking pictures, and I blended into the crowd. "Marcus, long time no see," I shouted from the crowd. At that moment, all eyes and cameras turned toward me. Marcus' gaze, when it fell on me, was sharp and piercing. "Grace, what are you doing here?" I sneered. "Can't I come? Or shouldn't I?" "Who is that?" "I don't know, she doesn't look like anyone important, but she seems to know Mr. Hayes well." The reporters began discussing, each adding their comments. The host called security over, intending to remove me, but then probably realized it was a live stream, and dragging me away would cause an uproar. So, they left me alone. "Oh, isn't this the gold digger?" Scarlett said, tightening her grip on Marcus' arm, then glanced at me and continued, "Fellow reporters, she's a complete gold digger. She's been pestering Marcus for 2 years and won't leave him alone. Please report on this widely so everyone online can know her." "Ha ha ha." I suddenly burst out laughing. "What are you laughing at? Are you so happy now that Marcus has taken over Hayes and become CEO? Is it just about money? Tell me how much and I'll give it to you." Scarlett thought I was there for Marcus' money, but now, I suddenly didn't want the money anymore. I was probably going to disappoint her. "Sorry to disappoint you, but the problem between Marcus and me can't be solved with money. I don't want money." "Then what are you laughing about?" "I think Marcus is ridiculous. I thought he'd found some fairy, but it turns out to be someone as low as you." "Ha ha." I continued, laughing as I spoke. Marcus stood to the side, saying nothing, just watching Scarlett and me argue. "What do you know about our relationship? I don't want to waste any more words on you. With the media friends as witnesses, how much money will it take for you to stop harassing Marcus?" Scarlett said haughtily. Actually, I didn't want to talk to Scarlett either. Unhurriedly, I pulled out our marriage certificate, and displayed it to the cameras one by one. "Everyone, look closely. This is a legally binding marriage certificate. We are not divorced yet, and you here talking about our relationship with my husband, have you no shame? I am genuinely ashamed for your fans, how could they like someone like you?" The reporters present almost dropped their jaws, when they saw the marriage certificate in my hand. "This can't be real, can it? Mr. Hayes is married. Mr. Hayes, do you have anything to say?" With photo editing and even AI technology so advanced these days, anyone can just fake one, right? The reporters exploded with questions, each clamoring to speak. "Grace, stop making a scene. This press conference is very important for my company, and for Scarlett today." What was Marcus saying? Was he protecting Scarlett? When we were together, he promised me he would always be the first to stand up, and protect me, defend me, no matter what, even if I was wrong, he'd be on my side. And now? "Don't worry, I won't delay you too long. Sign the divorce papers, and we'll go our separate ways, perfectly setting you and Scarlett up," I said, pulling out the divorce papers, and handing them to Marcus. Before I could speak, Scarlett quickly interjected. "I call you a gold digger, and you still deny it. Your true colors are showing, aren't they? Divorce means you'll get a lot of assets, right? Hearing's words, Marcus suddenly smiled, and said, I see, Grace. I never realized how manipulative you were. Gold digger, you are so naive. Do you really think harassing Marcus for so long means you'll get a share of his family's assets? Scarlett's tone was always one of utter contempt for me. Hey, do you think everyone's like you, willing to do anything for money? You truly are a disgusting pair. Since it was in front of reporters and on a live stream, Scarlett was utterly humiliated, her face instantly turned very ugly. Grace, don't you think our problems weren't caused by Scarlett? Even without her, we already had issues. Marcus said. Problems? What problems? Are you saying me saving you was a problem? Me taking you in was a problem? Me taking care of you while you faked amnesia was a problem? Me having a simple, no-frills wedding with you was a problem? I was getting agitated as I spoke. Grace, wake up. Look at yourself. Is there a single thing about you, from head to toe, that's worthy of Marcus? If he were with you, you'd wake up smiling in your dreams, wouldn't you? Scarlett scrutinized me from head to toe. Ha, you are hilarious. You are clearly the gold digger, yet you are trying to blame me. I truly found her ridiculous. Grace, there's a time and place for your outbursts. I told you today is very important for Scarlett, so stop making a scene. Marcus said, reaching out to grab my collar and clenching it tightly in his hand. Looking at Marcus, my face was filled with disappointment, and tears streamed down uncontrollably. It wasn't because he was laying hands on me, but because I remembered how he once promised to protect me forever. Marcus' every move was being broadcast on the live stream, so his assistant reminded him, and he finally let go. Marcus, do you think I'm being unreasonable? I just said we should divorce. I'm giving you two a chance. I truly just came to get a divorce. Wasn't giving them a chance to be openly together exactly what they wanted. Before could reply, his assistant called security to drag me away. The security guards pulled me, then tossed me out to the main. Since I hadn't achieved my goal, I naturally wouldn't just give up and leave. But actually, in this situation, I didn't even need to make a fuss. Curious reporters were already catching up to me. Ma'am, I'd like to interview you. Are you truly married to Mr. Marcus? Didn't I just show you the marriage certificate? Could it be fake? Under what circumstances did Mr. Hayes marry you? A reporter pressed. He's just a wolf in sheep's clothing, really. He took advantage of my kindness, faking amnesia in front of me. Turns out, I was the fool. You really didn't know him before. You got involved with him, without knowing his identity, the reporter asked suspiciously. Of course, I didn't know. I'm just a simple girl from the countryside, naive about the world. I don't know any business elites, let alone what a family corporation is. Reporters asked me many questions. Finally, to prove the authenticity of our marriage, I even showed them some photos of us saved on my phone. Enough. Stop talking, a man shouted at me. What's it to you? Before I could finish, he and the group of people he brought with him dragged me away. What are you doing? Is this kidnapping? Reporters, please call the police for me. The reporters heard my cries, but they all recognized the people dragging me away, Scarlett's agent and the head of the entertainment company owned by Marcus. Who would dare call the police? And just like that, they dragged me to a car and took me to an abandoned school building that looked very desolate. I was tied to a chair in a classroom. Later, I learned that the abandoned school building was Scarlett's alma mater and Marcus had specifically bought that property to create a lasting memory for her. Why are you kidnapping me? Did tell you to do this? Tell him to have the guts to come out and talk to me himself. What kind of man kidnaps someone? I think you should save your breath. Mr. Hayes want to see you. Scarlett's agent yelled at me at first. I kept yelling for help, but eventually, I got tired and just gave up. They just watched me, seemingly waiting for further instructions. It felt like a long time had passed. I didn't know when I'd fallen asleep in the chair. In my dream, I returned to the good times I'd shared with Marcus before. We might have been poor, but every day was filled with happiness. Wake up. With that, a bucket of ice water poured directly over my head. I jolted awake, cold seeping into me from my scalp down to my toes. The person in front of me was Scarlett. Gold digger, I just offered you money, but you refused it and kept spouting nonsense in front of the reporters. I have to teach you a lesson. Did tell you to do this? I asked Scarlett. Scarlett smiled but said nothing, implicitly confirming it. I was very disappointed, feeling like I was the most pathetic person in the world. Don't worry, I just want to divorce Marcus. Let me go. Once we're divorced, you can be with him, won't that be great? So we shouldn't be enemies, right? I was so cold I was practically trembling as I spoke. When it comes down to it, don't you just want money? Isn't talking about divorce just a way to get a share of Marcus' assets? You are legally Mrs. Hayes, after all. Would you really willingly give up that status? How many people want to be Mrs. Hayes? Wouldn't you want to be? Would you be willing to give it up? Grace, I also want you to leave Marcus, but you won't go. Scarlett continued talking to herself, but I interrupted her. Do you have some misunderstanding about me? I told you, once he divorces me, I won't have anything to do with him anymore. But now, I don't just want a divorce, I also want him to compensate me for 2 years of emotional distress, the time I lost, and all my living expenses from those 2 years. Haha, I told you. You are still just after money. 2 years, I'll give you 10 million. Is that enough? Take the money and get lost. That's enough for you to go abroad, and don't ever come back. Scarlett was quite generous. I had originally only wanted 1 million, so it seemed my ambition was too small. I only want what's rightfully mine, I won't take a single cent more. And you have no right to decide where I go. I said, glancing at her. Do you think you have the right to negotiate with me? Marcus is mine, and his assets belong to me. Aren't you just staying because you want a share of his wealth? I won't let you succeed. Scarlett said, smiling. Are you out of your mind? Can't you understand plain English? I said I'm leaving Marcus, I have no desire for that kind of scumbag, *slap, *. The moment I finished speaking, Scarlett slapped me, so hard I saw stars. Don't you dare talk about Marcus like that. You want money, I'll give it to you. If I tell you to take the money and leave, you should leave. If you don't leave even with the money, then your intentions aren't pure. You are not a good person at all. I'm going to make Marcus see your true colors. Don't blame me for not giving you a chance, you are the one who didn't appreciate it. Now, you won't get a single cent. And whether you leave Marcus, or not isn't up to you. As spoke, she pulled out a sharp dagger, and gestured menacingly with it toward me. Scarlett, what are you trying to do? You like to spout nonsense to reporters, don't you? Don't you know? Only dead people stay quiet forever. And once you are dead, you'll truly be able to leave Marcus. Today, I'll deliver justice, and end your misery for good. Scarlett raised the dagger as she spoke, walking towards me. She seemed to have lost her mind, completely deranged. Stop. A familiar voice came from outside the door. It was Marcus. Marcus, why are you here? Scarlett asked. Did I tell you to kill her? Faced with Marcus, Scarlett looked somewhat ashamed. Marcus, you misunderstood. I was just joking, just trying to scare her. How could I possibly kill someone? That's illegal. Scarlett quickly explained. Untie her. Marcus told Scarlett to release me. Did I hear that right? At least he had some conscience. Following's orders, her people quickly untied me. Marcus genuinely seemed angry, and Scarlett looked a little scared, standing silently to the side. After a moment, Scarlett probably felt awkward and finally said something. Marcus, I need to get back to the film. I'm leaving. Scarlett said that, and then slipped away with her people. Only and I were left in the dilapidated classroom. I didn't want to face him, it felt too awkward, so I wanted to leave too. As I left, I flung a statement at him, Marcus, I'll print out the divorce papers again and come find you. If you don't agree, I'll sue you. With that, I quickly left the dilapidated school. The area around the school was too desolate, there were few people, and I couldn't even see any cars passing by. I had to walk. I hadn't gone far when I heard the sound of a speeding car, gradually slowing down. A sports car pulled up beside me. Do you need a ride? A rich, velvety voice caught my attention. I turned to look and saw a handsome man in the car. His refined face looked sculpted, with sharp features. His profile was simply flawless, his good looks were incomparable to Marcus's. "Could you give me a ride back to the city?" I asked weakly. "Get in." The handsome man got out of the car and carefully opened the door for me after I sat down. He even reminded me to buckle my seatbelt. In the car, I didn't dare speak to him, afraid of bothering him. The handsome man dropped me off at the apartment complex main. "Thank you," I said, pulling out my phone to pay him for the ride, but only then did I realize my phone had shattered at some point. "Oh, I'm so sorry, I wanted to pay you for the ride, but my phone," I said, looking at him pitifully. "It's fine, no need for the fare. Go home and get some rest." The handsome man smiled at me, his smile radiating warmth. After saying goodbye to him, I went home. Today's divorce papers had already been torn up by Scarlett, so I needed to print a new copy. I didn't want to see Marcus and Scarlett, that disgusting pair, ever again, so I decided to mail the papers to Marcus. When received them, he called me immediately. "Grace, stop being so stubborn. Wasn't the scene you made that day enough? Do you want to keep stirring up trouble?" Marcus said, as if it was all my fault. "What scene did I make? Maybe it was my mistake from the very beginning. I shouldn't have been so foolishly kind as to save you, and I certainly shouldn't have been with you. We were always from two different worlds, so why did you provoke me? Grace, don't be angry. We are legally married. Why can't we just sit down and talk things through? Legally married. Did you ever treat me as your wife? I was probably just a toy for you when you were stranded. Now that you are done playing and you find me disagreeable everywhere you look, isn't it best to divorce sooner rather than later? I truly found it outrageous how I could have ever been interested in him back then. The of back then was fiercely loyal and incredibly caring. He would always prepare dinner for me before I got home from work, and if I was thirsty, he'd immediately pour water for me. It was that gentle thoughtfulness that made me decide to marry him. But now, he only had that gentle look in his eyes when he looked at Scarlett. Marcus said nothing, there was a silence on the other end of the phone. "Marcus, you said it yourself, how could you ever be interested in me? So just sign the papers already. Don't forget to transfer 1 million to me, and then we'll be even." I urged him to sign quickly because I didn't want to be tied to this empty marriage any longer. After saying that, I hung up. I carefully reviewed our relationship. It truly wasn't a good fit. Now that I saw his true colors, leaving early to cut my losses was the best decision. I waited and waited for Marcus to sign the divorce papers, but what I got instead was news of Scarlett attending Hayes' annual gala as his companion. At the gala, Scarlett even generously introduced her new identity to the media, the future Mrs. Hayes. How strange. Marcus and I weren't even divorced yet, and she was already trying to move in far too early. Reporters wrote about their relationship, making it sound vague and mysterious, and with a few embellishments, they really solidified Scarlett's status as the future Mrs. Hayes. With all that hype campaign, the stock price of Hayes, a subsidiary of Hayes, soared for 3 days. Everyone probably forgot about my existence as his unrefined wife, treating it all as a joke. A few days later, I received a package. Inside was the copy of the divorce papers I had mailed, signed by Marcus. Seeing his name, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. It was over. Oh, wait, I hadn't received the money I wanted yet, but apparently, my worries were unnecessary. Not long after, my account received 1 million. So, from now on, Marcus and I had no ties whatsoever. If we met again, we'd be strangers, wouldn't we? In the past, I was so frugal, never willing to spend a cent on myself, or buy new clothes. Any money I had, I'd first used to buy delicious food, and nice clothes for Marcus. I never shortchanged him. This time, I was going to properly compensate myself. That day, I shopped at the mall until very late, buying many beautiful clothes and getting a new hairstyle. When I returned to my rental, the door was ajar. I thought I hadn't locked it properly when I left, as I was naturally a bit careless. When I pushed the door open, there were workers assembling furniture. The furniture looked somewhat familiar, like I had seen it somewhere before. "What are you doing? Where are my things?" I asked, surprised. Marcus walked unhurriedly from the balcony, looking at me and saying, "Grace, you look beautiful today. I've bought this apartment, and I've replaced all the furniture for you. Isn't this all what you like?" Only then did it suddenly hit me. When and I were together, we had talked about how, if we ever had money, we would buy a small place like this rental, which would be enough for us, and furnish it cozily with country-style furniture. Marcus. Am I seeing things? What do you mean by this? We are already divorced. My furniture isn't your concern, is it? I was a little angry that he was interfering in my affairs. Since we were divorced, there shouldn't be any further involvement. Grace, listen to me. There's nothing going on between Scarlett and me. It was all for show. She has connections and resources in the entertainment industry, and my entertainment company happened to need that, so I had to use her to get things done. Now that everything has stabilized, we can go back to being husband and wife, living together just like before. He really had some nerve. Calling him a scumbag was putting it mildly. Get out of my house right now, and take your broken furniture with you. I don't want it. Bring my things back exactly as they were, or I'll call the police. I saw it clearly, Marcus must have some other motive to come back begging me now, but I didn't know yet what exactly he was planning. After all, he was such a good actor, he should have been the leading man in Scarlett's movie. Grace, you have to believe me. Scarlett and I were just acting. It was all to deal with the media, you have to understand. We lived together for 2 years. Don't you know how I feel about you? Of course, I love you. Why else would I have been with you? The more Marcus spoke, the more disgusted I became, I almost threw up. At that moment, I also understood, he probably used Scarlett, and now he wanted to discard her, which was why he was coming back to me. Marcus, stop talking. I'm giving you 1 minute to take your junk, and get out of my house. If you don't leave, I'm calling the police. I said, exasperated. Seeing how determined I was to make him leave, he reluctantly told the workers assembling furniture to stop. Grace, I won't be taking these things. Did you forget? I told you, I bought this apartment. I'm your landlord now. I'm leaving for now, but I'll bring you breakfast tomorrow. Good riddance. I wished he would disappear from my sight immediately. As for tomorrow, he probably wouldn't be able to find me again. Oh, right, a large high-end convection oven is being delivered tomorrow, a combi steamer. Don't you like making desserts? This is the oven you've always wanted, I spent over $500,000 on it. Remember to sign for it. Get out. I liked making desserts for my husband from 2 years ago, and that person isn't you. Marcus showed no reaction after hearing my words, not even a slight change in his expression. He was a scumbag to begin with, so this was perfectly normal. Finally, Marcus left, leaving the furniture behind. He was right, he had bought the apartment, and it was now his place. So, after he left, I packed my bags and left that very night. I probably wouldn't come back here again, nor would I have any further contact with Marcus. Now, I wanted to go back to my hometown and spend quality time with my parents. After all, I had neglected them far too much over the past 2 years. I wanted to make it up to them, taking them on a trip with that $1 million. I rushed to the airport and booked the earliest flight. I wanted to go to the nearby city first, then transfer to a train, as that would be the quickest way. My home was in a small, with no airport nearby, so I had to go to the nearest big city first. After I took my seat on the plane, the seat next to me remained empty until just before takeoff, when someone rushed onto the plane and sat down beside me. I looked closely and saw it was the handsome man who had helped me that day. It's you. He turned to me and smiled. What a coincidence, right? Yes, thank you so much for that day. If it hadn't been for you, I might have had to walk for a long time to get back to the city. The handsome man waved his hand after I finished speaking, saying, it was nothing. Strangely, he and I felt like we'd known each other forever, as if we had endless topics to discuss. We talked the whole way, and it was through our conversation that I learned he was Ethan, the heir to Miller. I knew Miller, it was a nationally renowned large company, but not a family business like Marcus. But what I found curious was why the heir to Miller, who should have been living in luxury, would be flying economy class and sitting next to me. It must have been his down-to-earth personality. If we're traveling, he'd want to fly directly from his doorstep, let alone just going to the airport. Regardless, Ethan and I became friends. I returned home and had our first reunion meal with Mom and Dad in 2 years. It had only been 2 years since I'd seen Mom and Dad, but it felt like an eternity. They were visibly aging, and though they pretended to ignore me, they had always cared, even secretly checking my social media feed. I had truly messed up, not contacting my parents for 2 years, all for a jerk. This time, I properly apologized to them, and the very next day, I booked Mom and Dad a luxury tour package, sending them off on a trip. I wanted to use their travel time to look for a suitable housing development in the city, and buy a property for them. When I went to check out the housing development, the sales agents at the real office were all gathered around, watching gossip news. Look, I knew someone like Scarlett would get what she deserved. This can't be true, can it? Scarlett has always done well in the entertainment industry. I didn't want to concern myself with their conversation, but a nosy sales agent projected their phone screen onto the TV in the real office lobby. I saw her in the news, looking a bit different than usual, wearing large sunglasses, trying to evade the cameras as if afraid of being recognized. Under the reporter's persistent questioning, Scarlett took off her sunglasses and publicly admitted that Marcus had hit her, and it looked like it wasn't light. She also claimed Marcus had exploited her resources in the entertainment industry to boost his own company's hype campaign and establish itself. Then he started abusing her, treating her terribly, and hitting her constantly. "Why did you choose to come forward and expose him?" a reporter asked her. "I am not speaking up for myself, I am coming forward to expose this jerk, to speak up for all women. I don't want another victim to appear." Scarlett went on to say many negative things about Marcus, but everything she said was completely different from the person I had saved. Marcus truly seemed like a different person, so utterly unfamiliar. But no matter what they did, it had nothing to do with me anymore. I coughed loudly a few times before the sales staff at the real office finally noticed my presence. "Hello, how can I help you? I'd like to look at some properties. Could you please show me around?" "Miss, you look familiar. Have we met somewhere before?" I knew she must have seen me during that live stream of the press conference, but I didn't admit it. Based on the sales agent's recommendations, I decided on a property for my parents. When I got home, my phone rang. The caller ID was Marcus. I declined the call and added him to my blacklist. It was time to put the past behind me. A few days later, I received a call from Ethan. He invited me to dinner in the city. I thought about it. I really should treat him to a meal. After all, he had helped me before. I originally planned to take him to a more upscale restaurant, considering his status, but he insisted it wasn't necessary. In the end, we ended up eating spicy noodle soup together. I chuckled as I ate. "What's so funny?" Ethan asked. "I just never expected someone of your status to eat spicy noodle soup. What did you expect me to eat? Shouldn't tea people like you always go to those super high-end restaurants? How could you eat at a small place like this? Haha, you were just biased against me." Ethan was very polite and down-to-earth, without any S of a CEO. I felt very relaxed and happy whenever I was with Ethan. Later, Ethan actually confessed his feelings to me. He said he liked me and wanted me to be his girlfriend. But I was afraid to take that step. Not because I didn't like him, but because he was too wealthy, which made me feel a bit inferior. However, during our subsequent interactions, I confessed my past to him, telling him about my marriage that I'd rather not mention. But he said he didn't care. He even told me he had also been married before, but had no children, and his ex-wife had moved abroad and remarried, so there were no lingering concerns. And just like that, I accepted Ethan's confession, and I became his girlfriend. The day after I became Ethan's girlfriend, he took me and announced our relationship to the world, but unexpectedly, it stirred up trouble for me. Marcus came looking for me. "Grace, I know you are just trying to make me angry, aren't you?" "I'm not mad. Can we go back to how things were? I can live with you just like before. I'm still the same person I used to be. I haven't changed. I only wanted you to have a better life. It broke my heart to see you struggling to support me back then, I knew my current situation well, and wouldn't have anything to do with him anymore. Those 2 years of feelings were wasted now that I had finally found the right person. I would cherish him. Mr. Hayes, I don't have the energy to intentionally provoke you. You are right, I wasn't worthy of you. For those 2 years, we were together, you were just making a fool out of me, weren't you? I've long lost all hope in you, so don't flatter yourself that you are that important. You are not. As I turned to leave, Marcus hugged me from behind. I struggled desperately to break free, but he was too strong, I couldn't get away. Marcus, let me go. No, I won't let go this time. I won't let you leave me. Let go. It was Ethan. Before could say anything, Ethan reached out, pulled him away, and punched him hard. I'm warning you, Grace is my girlfriend, my fiancée, and the future Mrs. Miller. You'd better not harass her again. Or it won't be just a simple punch. Mr. Miller, I know you are just putting on a show with Grace. I won't give up. Marcus still didn't believe it. A show? Has running an entertainment company made you stupid? Come on, see for yourself if this is a show. Ethan said, then had his bodyguards pick up Marcus and put him in the car. The car drove directly to the city hall. After getting out, Ethan opened the trunk, revealing it full of roses. Then he knelt on one knee, pulled out a diamond ring, and proposed to me. After I nodded yes, Ethan took my hand, and led me into City Hall, where we signed the papers. Get this straight. We are legally married now. Don't you dare harass my wife again. Only now did Marcus seem to believe that we were truly together. His eyes filled with disappointment, and he turned to leave, his figure slowly fading into the distance, looking defeated. Later, Ethan gave me a grand wedding, truly a lavish wedding, held on a private resort with sunshine and beaches, and a custom-made wedding dress. It was the wedding of my dreams. After we got married, Ethan not only wouldn't let me work, but he also made everything about me. He rarely went out for business, and if I hadn't insisted he go to work, he would have ignored the company entirely, clinging to me, every day. He even cooked delicious meals for me, himself, and often skipped work to travel with me, showing me the world's most beautiful sights. Ethan even wanted my parents to move in and offered to buy them a car and a house, but my parents insisted on staying put, not accustomed to city life. In the end, Ethan invested in my small back home, and renovated my parents' house. A year later, our child was born. A picture of a happy family of 3 was something I had always yearned for. Setting aside Ethan's background and status, he was genuinely good to me, truly beyond reproach. I didn't have high demands for my quality of life, I simply wanted to spend a lifetime together, simply and happily, with the person I loved. So I never cared about the other person's status or wealth. As long as he treated me well, I could give him my all. That's why I especially cherish my happy life with Ethan.